All right, everyone, I'm going to share with you today my top 15 tips for earning money on eBay in 2019. And these 15 tips, they apply to people who are existing eBayers, but especially people who are new to eBay. In fact, in the last month or so, I have already generated over $1,000 of earnings on eBay with a brand new account. And I want to share with you all today how I'm doing that and the top 15 tips that I have learned in my journey. And I'm excited about this because finances right now, quite frankly, are a little bit tight for me. You guys know that I love investing, I love buying dividend stocks, but the finances, they've been a little bit tight because I've had a lot of home repairs in 2019. So this incremental income from eBay, it is really awesome. So I'm going to jump right into it. Tip number one. Bam, I have a new account. The reason I have a new account on eBay, even though I have been selling on eBay before, is because I stopped selling. And I stopped selling for a number of years. I didn't log into eBay. My account got dormant. And so the account actually got inactivated. And so tip number one actually is if you have an account, make sure to log in regularly so it does not get inactivated like mine did. But anyways, my account has been inactivated. I had to create a net new account. And so this is difficult. 2019, starting on eBay with a brand new account. How did I overcome this challenge? The tip here is I explain right away in the description. So whenever I am selling something on eBay, I make it very clear in the description, not the beginning of the description, usually the end, but I'll include something that says like, hey, bid with confidence. I am an experienced eBayer. And I give them the whole story. I used to be on eBay. My account got inactivated for inactivity, but I have experience. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to ship promptly. I'm trustworthy. You can trust me as a seller on eBay. And so maybe you don't have an account that was inactivated, but you're new. Just put something in the description being like, hey, I know my account is new, but look, I am legit. I am here for you. I'm going to ship promptly. I am selling what I am saying that I'm selling, and just instill that confidence in the buyer, because from a buyer's perspective, sometimes buying from someone with a brand new account, it can be a little scary. It can be a little bit skeptical because you're giving all this money to someone and you don't know if they're going to fulfill on their end of the bargain of shipping the product that they bought. So just bring that up. Be very clear in the description that you are real and legit. So tip number two, leverage. I personally don't like to sell stuff on eBay unless I'm going to make at least $100 for my time. It's just not worth my time. Preferably, I'd like to make in the few $100s per transaction. But I'll give you an example. These Louis Vuitton shoes, these are the shoes that my auction ended today. The buyer already paid me, really blessed. He paid me very promptly. So after this video, I'm actually going to package this up and ship these out first thing tomorrow via priority mail. But anyways, these are high-end Louis Vuitton sneakers, and the auction actually got me, not including the cost of shipping, $150. And so I actually thought they were going to go a little bit higher, but quite frankly, I don't wear these. I'm looking forward to getting them out of the house and decluttering a bit while having a little bit of extra money margin that I can use for my savings, for my investments in dividend stocks. And so the fact of the matter, though, is am I going to go onto eBay and sell some used Nike sneakers that might be worth only $5? No, I am selling items like this on eBay that are going to give me good leverage on my time. So you just need to think, if you're going to go on eBay in 2019, what is your strategy around your time? Because it may just not be worth your time if you're only going to earn like $5 here, $5 there. For me, it's got to be at least $100 per transaction. So tip number three is just maxing out the photos. I like to take a lot of photos. So in the video here, right at this time, I'm going to share some of the photos in front of you so you can see the types of photos that I share. But what I like to do is get all of the angles. I like to be really realistic. So with the shoes, for example, I'll take the front, I'll even go on the inside, the back, the bottom, everything. And I'll do up close, further away. I'll even take pictures of everything that comes with the shoes. So these sneakers come with the dust bag, they come with the box, they come with the original receipt, they come with some extra shoelaces, they come with a little booklet from Louis Vuitton. I'll take pictures of everything and include it. Now, I believe there's a maximum of 12 photos, so you have to use your photos wisely, but I like to max out the photos and have very clear details. I'll give you another example. I sold some sunglasses frames, chrome hearts sunglasses frames, and you have to be careful on eBay. They don't let you sell prescription glasses, so I have these prescription glasses, but what I do is I took out the prescription lenses and I sold just the frames. And so these are sunglasses. I took really close-up photos so that the buyer could see all of the details. And so be very, spend the time basically. Spend the time to get the right photos and max them out. Now, original stuff. So if you are selling something on eBay, let's say, for example, again, the sneaker example. If I'm just selling the sneakers, that's not very compelling for a buyer because they're like, hey, are these really authentic? Are they really the real deal? But it's no, I'm selling the sneakers. I'm selling the, I don't have everything here, but I got the dust bags. So I have one dust bag per sneaker. Again, like I said, I have the receipt and I took a picture of the receipt. I just put a black box over my name and over my credit card number, but I have the receipt and I'm providing the receipt to the buyer. And so the more you can include the original stuff, the box, the accessories, it makes your eBay auction more compelling and it differentiates it from the next person selling the same thing that may not have all of those original goodies that came with the product. And so the other nuance here is just if you buy stuff, I always like to keep everything. I keep the receipt, especially high-ticket items, everything that came with it to make sure that, look, if I ever do want to sell it, I've got all that stuff. But we'll get more to that in the future. In general, I'm not a fan these days in 2019. The 2019 Ian is not buying stuff like this because I have better uses for my money. I'm not going to be making the same mistakes of the past again. Anyways, Number 5, just come up with a catchy title. I mean, this goes without saying, but selling something on eBay, it is a act of marketing. It is all marketing. And I like to have an authentic, just a really catchy title. I'll include words like authentic, pristine, Louis Vuitton, LV, like all of the buzzwords that would possibly help a buyer who is searching and typing in keywords onto eBay to find what you are selling. And so get catchy with the title and try to differentiate. Some of my titles I do all caps. Actually, most of them are that way. I think it's more catchy if someone's scrolling and they see something all caps, and so that is allowed on eBay. Why not do it? But just keep those catchy words. I always found that the words like authentic and pristine condition or excellent condition, those types of keywords, if they are true, if they are truthful of what you're selling, they are very helpful. Also, tip number 6, low starting bid. So this one's funny. I like to start my auctions really low. This one I actually started, I don't remember where I started it. It was a little higher, but I think it was like $40 or something like that. The only reason this one goes higher is the shipping on these shoes, because they're kind of heavy with the box and everything. It adds up, and usually what I found is the shipping that the seller pays, it's not enough. I always coming out of pocket as well on the shipping, and it's all good. I'm happy to do it. But because of that, I didn't want these things going for like 20 bucks and then just make nothing. And so, but in general, like with my auctions, I will start the bids really low. And I learned this from real estate. I learned this from residential real estate. Where I live here in the San Francisco Bay Area, if one prices a home really low, it will drum up so many offers, so much competition, and it will most likely end up going higher than if someone priced it at a more realistic, a more fair, kind of reasonable price to what it's worth. And so I learned the same thing and apply it to eBay. I just like to start the bids low because it gets a lot of interest. I see more people bidding, I see more people watching, I'm getting more clicks, and so one of my subscribers on my channel here actually said, but you don't want to start it too low because it may look like you're selling something fake. I have not come into that problem yet because I make it really clear that what I'm selling is authentic, because I literally have the receipt of what I'm selling. And if I don't have the receipt, I have all the accessories. With this one, I happen to have the receipt. Not all of my auctions do I have that, but I make it very clear that what I'm selling is the real deal. And so I don't really run a risk of that, but I can kind of see what they're saying. And so you don't want to go so low as you're going to start like a $1 bid or something. But for me, I'll usually start my auctions somewhere between $20 and $40. And these are for items that I am expecting to earn at least, $100, sometimes upwards of $200 on the auction. So tip number 7, resist offers. In the first few days on eBay, you won't get a lot of bids. Sometimes you'll get no bids, and you'll start wondering, oh my goodness, is this going to sell at all? It's total game theory. Think about it from the buyer's perspective. Someone buying your item, are they going to put in their bid and show their cards early? No, they're going to wait until the last minute to put in their bid and hopefully win it. And so what happens on these eBay auctions that are 7 days long is all the activity happens in like the last hour or so. In the days that precede that, sometimes you'll get a few bids, but what happens is there's these people come in with offers. They'll say, hey, what can I give you to buy it now? And sometimes they'll offer you, like for these ones, for example, I didn't get any offers on this, but for other items that I've sold similar to this, I might receive an offer of like $100, but it ended up going for $150. And so every time my experience on eBay so far has been that my items always go higher than these offers that come through. So usually if the offers come through in the early days, like first day or two of the auction, I just don't even, I'll respond and I'll be cordial and I'll be like, hey, thanks for the offer, but I'm not really taking offers. I just want to see how the auction plays out. And what I've always found is the auction will extract the most money for the seller. So tip number 8, long description. This is where the money is made, in my opinion, on eBay, is having a very long description. So I go into great detail about everything. I'll talk about the condition of the item. I'll talk about what the item is. I'll talk about how it fits. Like, hey, it fits like this kind of, my foot, I typically wear this size sneaker, this size dress shoe. This is how it fits. I'll talk about how many times I've worn the item. I'll talk about why I'm getting rid of the item. Why would I want to get rid of something so beautiful? I mean, I don't want someone to feel like they're getting my trash or something. No, I'm literally getting rid of it because I need to make room in my house. I am decluttering. And because, quite frankly, I need a little extra cash. I'm kind of sad to part with the item. Go into whatever detail you think makes sense. But for me, sometimes I will give these kind of details just to have more of a human connection with the person that is the buyer, so they know where I'm coming from and they know that I'm not just trying to offload something I don't want, but I'm actually selling something very valuable here on eBay that had meaning to me in my life. And so I go into all of, all kinds of stuff. Oh, another one is just smoke-free, pet-free. Like, hey, I don't have any smoking in my house, no pets in my house, so it's been in that kind of smoke-free, pet-free environment. If that's truthful of what you're selling, included in the description. And I always include like, hey, bid with confidence. Like, look, yeah, my account is newer. We talked about this earlier, but I have a lot of experience with eBay. I talk about how I'm going to ship promptly once the auction closes. And any other special details that I can come up with, include them. So really spend the time on your description. That's how you'll extract more money for your eBay auctions. So number 9, tip number 9, no returns accepted. Not only do I choose the little option on eBay that I don't accept returns, but I make it very clear in my description. Dealing with returns on eBay is a lot of pain. It doesn't make sense for someone like you or me who's a small timer who's just looking to earn a few $1,000 extra, or for some of you, a few $100 extra. My goal this year, earn a few thousand. I've already earned 1,000, maybe earn like 3,000, 2,000 this year on eBay. I'd be happy, declutter the house, get some extra money for stock market. But basically the point here is returns. If you're a smaller operation, you don't want to deal with returns. And I'll tell you, one time, this was a few years ago, I was selling on eBay with my old account. Someone wanted to do a return. Basically what I did instead of doing a return is I just struck a deal with them. I was like, look, I don't want to process returns. Are you willing to take this offer? And I basically said, like, look, I'll refund you half. And so I don't like it coming to that. That's never good, but that's just kind of the pain of the return is not worth the time to me. And so you want to make it very clear when you are selling, and you want to be very transparent with your pictures, with your description, so that there's no confusion. And quite frankly, again, you want to point out no returns are accepted. But you don't even want the buyer to think like, hey, I wish I could return this. You want them to be happy, and the only way you can do that is if you're very clear with what you communicate on eBay. So tip number 10, promptly shipped. So I think eBay gives me like a 3-day period to box up and ship these items. Usually I like to do it the same day or the day after the auction ends. And I like to do that to instill confidence with the seller or with the buyer, because the buyer pays me right away. As soon as the auction ends, I typically get payment within an hour or so, sometimes few hours if it takes the buyer more time. I like to extend them the courtesy of shipping it as promptly as possible. And so I will do that within usually same day or the next day. With this one, it's going to be next day because the auction closed a little later in the day. Don't have time to go to the post office before it closes. I'll box it up tonight and I'll ship it out tomorrow. And what I'll do on eBay also is I'll just do priority shipping. So some of my auctions, even if the buyer did not pay for priority shipping, I'll just upgrade them and do priority shipping. I have that flexibility because I'm selling stuff where I'm netting at least, or I'm earning at least $100 before the expense of shipping. And so, look, if the buyer paid like first class, like let's say $3, and then priority is going to cost me $10 or something, I'll just do priority just because I want to get it to them as quickly as possible. I want to track it, and I just want it done. Want to close the deal, and so I'm willing to give up a little bit of margin for that. And once I ship it, I'll put the tracking details in eBay right away, and I'll just follow it. I don't cross it off my list until I see that it's been delivered. So next one is tip number 11. I spend time just researching. This probably should have brought it up earlier, but when I'm selling something on eBay, before I do the listing, I will research other similar items. I think this is self-explanatory, but I think it's really important because one of the things that eBay will tell you is similar items sold for this amount of money. So it'll help you get an understanding of what kind of money you will make, but also it'll just give you an understanding of how to model your title, as I think the title is really important, and also what category to place your item in. So tip number 12, I only like to sell a few items at a time, and I like to do it because I'm busy. I have a job, I have a YouTube channel, I have 2 kids, I have a family, I got a lot going on, and so this eBay thing is not front and center for me, so I just like to keep it manageable. But also I like to kind of place supply and demand. And so I actually have another pair of Louis Vuitton shoes, not the same as these, they're a little bit different, that I'm going to be selling next. And the reason I didn't list them at the same time is I want to create an environment of scarcity. And so if I'm listing both things at once, and a potential buyer has choices, it kind of dilutes my buyers. There's only so many buyers out there for this particular size, this particular shoe. And so if I have 2 that are kind of the same kind of thing, I could see a similar buyer looking at both. I'd rather not overwhelm the buyers with too much supply. I'd rather constrain the supply, get maximum for my auction, and then open a new auction next. And so that's why I'll sequence my auctions as well. Tip number 13. Just talked about this, but it's okay to pay a little extra for shipping and packaging. Typically, I do this to make the buyer happy, and because I have a new account, what I do is I will include a little packing slip, and on the packing slip, eBay actually lets you print this, and I will include a little note like, hey, if you leave positive feedback for me, I will leave positive feedback for you. And so I love that because having a newer account, I already have 3 positive feedbacks that have built up. It's not a lot, but it's a lot better than 0. And so now when people are buying from me, they're like, yeah, this guy has done transactions before, they're positive, they're recent, I'm going to feel a little bit better about bidding on his items. And so that's by paying a little extra for packaging and shipping, making sure the buyer's happy and leaving that little note, they're more likely to give you the positive feedback. But also once they give you the positive feedback, make sure to repay the favor and give them positive feedback right away as well. That was tip 13. Tip 14, proceeds. Right away when I make money on eBay, it gets into my stocks, basically. I like to purchase dividend-paying stocks. This is a channel about investing for dividends and cash flow. And so I am using my proceeds from eBay literally to buy stocks out there. Stocks like 3M, for example. This is a stock I own. The makers of this Post-it whiteboard, ticker symbol MMM. In terms of full disclosure, I am long 3M, ticker symbol MMM. And so let's say, though, you have a different goal. You're just selling on eBay. You want to earn a little extra cash to build up your savings or your emergency fund or your savings account. make sure once you earn the money, you don't squander it. It doesn't go into your everyday account. It doesn't get mixed up. You literally get it into a separate account or separate investment vehicle right away so that you see the full value of the money you're earning on eBay, which is above and beyond your normal salary, your normal income. And so it's really important to get it separated right away. Tip number 15. Don't buy this stuff to begin with. I mean, this is coming full circle. I do not buy shoes like this anymore. This shoe, I don't even want to think about it, but these were quite expensive. I had to look at it. I had to look at the receipt when I sold them. And I included that, by the way. I included what I originally paid in the description. Don't buy this stuff to begin with. That's the fact of the matter is, rather than buying this stuff to begin with, if I'd put the money in the market, I would have had an even bigger dividend stock portfolio than I already have, and I wouldn't be getting, $150 for these. I would have saved the whatever $450, $500 I paid on the shoes. And so the fact of the matter is, in life, it's okay to splurge, it's okay to buy stuff, but don't get ahead of yourself. Don't buy things to impress other people. Don't buy things to look important at work. Don't buy things because you are stressed out at work like I was, and you're looking to reward yourself and look like the big man on campus when you should have been saving that money to get your time back, because the more money you have saved up, you reach financial freedom quicker, you reach early retirement quicker, and then you own your time, and that's when you really win. And so I just have to remind myself, I've come a long way. These shoes I bought a long time ago. They're pretty old. And so I just learned those lessons along the way, and I try not to buy that stuff to begin with. And what's going to be funny is once I've sold all this stuff, I'm not going to have much more to sell on eBay, and that's okay. My strategy is decluttering and selling expensive items that I've bought over the years that I no longer need. I don't live that lifestyle anymore. And look, I have some nice shoes that I bought in the last few years, like Air Jordans, and those are pretty expensive, but they fit my current lifestyle better. Surely they're more affordable than Louis Vuitton and more practical too in terms of wearing just day to day. It's all good. I like to splurge from time to time and enjoy life as I go, but I also have to be careful not to buy too many of these big things, because if I get my money working for me, I reach my financial freedom quicker, and that is so sweet. That's what it's all about, for me at least. And so you may have completely different strategy on eBay. Maybe you don't have these kind of luxury goods sitting around that you made the mistake of buying, and maybe you should pat yourself on the back for that because you didn't squander some money like I have over the years. But you may have a different strategy. But wherever you're coming from, I hope my 15 tips helped you today, especially if you're newer to eBay in 2019. If you enjoyed the video today, please give me a like, subscription, comment. All of that means the world to me. I am trying to grow this channel into the big leagues. It is a big focus of mine, so I am grateful for each and every one of you watching the video today. Just in terms of a friendly disclaimer today, today's video is not investment advice. I'm not a licensed investment advisor. Today's video is just for your fun and entertainment. If you're going to go out and invest in the stock market or anywhere else, please consult a licensed financial advisor first. Just giving that disclaimer while this isn't really a finance video, because I am on my dividend finance channel here, and typically I am talking about financial related stuff. Hey everyone, happy bidding, happy selling on eBay. I'll see you guys in the next video.